Welcome to Hobby Clubhouse with a review of the Bandai Master Grade Gundam F90 O-Type and U-Type Mission Pack Expansion Set, which is a part of the ongoing F90 A to Z project aiming to assign and produce mission packs for all 26 letters of the alphabet. This set is unique to the series so far because it's the first one with both mission packs being original creations. Sort of. The officer type is a wholly new design, while the goofy-looking Uplift Type is actually something repurposed from the first Crossbone Gundam comic, lovingly called by the Japanese fans as the Hasegawa Booster, because of course this is something thought up by Yuichi Hasegawa. This set is a P-Bandai exclusive, priced at 2,000 yen, and it was delivered in Japan in late September 2020. The box is 31 by 20 by 8 centimeters, so it's a standard MG box through and through. The box itself is also standard P-Bandai, with a monotone print of the photos of the kit and then nothing else on the sides other than words. Inside the box we get 8 runners, which is in line with all the other mission pack releases. And also similar is a sheet of waterslide decals, which all other mission packs had, with labels for the specific mission packs. And then there's this small sheet of foil stickers, with some rectangular ones here for the O-Type camera sensors, and then these hexagonal ones here are for the cockpit on the U-Type. The instructions are all in black and white, and it's all assembly instructions with no further in-universe details for any of the mission packs, so if you want to know anything more about it, you're gonna have to go to their website, but it's all in Japanese. Jumping ahead about an hour and a half, let's look at a finished kit starting from the officer type mission pack. Of course you can tell from the massive blade antenna that this right here is a composite sensor unit, so it's some sort of a communications array. But supposedly this part on the right hand side is an extra set of Vulcan cannons, so this thing is something similar to the Vulcan part of the Mark II. It doesn't actually fit onto the side of the head like the Mark II, but rather it sits on top of the collar of the F90. The molded details are good enough on this, but the blade antennas can look a little ridiculous with how tall they are with the weird Count Chocula thing going on. Next is the high-powered beam rifle, which is clearly meant to remind us of the F90's VSBRs, but according to the A to Z website, this is a powered-up beam rifle with 2 modes, a short mode which gives better firing rates, and then a long mode with better firepower. The coloring is decent on the rifle, and it makes use of the gray insides for details that you can see through the outer white shell. The mouth of the rifle is also colored with a gray frame, which is nice. There is a recessed part in here that's supposed to be the camera sensor, and it's a little bit hard to see even in the shortened mode. The gun extends and locks with a notch inside, and in either mode it's gonna stay in place very nicely. Personally, the front of the gun looks a little odd, with the blue muzzle ending at a straight line, but the white parts meeting it with an inward V, and at first I thought I must have missed a piece or something that transitions between them, but no, that's just how it looks, and it looks really strange. The back of the rifle uses the same energy pack as a standard F90 beam rifle, and you can pull it off and use it with that gun or vice versa. As you can see here, the O-Type one is a little bit less shiny, so you're never going to get them mixed up if that's something that's ever going to bug you. Overall, I'd say the rifle is mechanically the most sophisticated item you're going to get in the box this time. The last part of this rather simple mission pack is the beam saber rack. Because the comm unit on the collar is going to block off the usual spots for the beam saber, you're going to need this extra rack. Small as it is, the designer made use of the gray backing to give us some more details poking through the front and the sides. All you have to do is stick the handles into the rack, and that's all there is. So let's go ahead and promote our F90 into an officer unit. All you have to do is take off this panel on the backpack, and then pull off the beam saber handles. You need to pull off the blade antenna from the communications array, and then you peg it onto the back of the backpack, like so. Then, you refit the antennas from the front, and the unit locks together very comfortably. Next, you mount the beam sabers onto the beam saber rack, and then remove one of the plates on the skirt armors, and then the rack onto the side skirt. You can use any side you like, even though the official photos always show it on the left side. Then you slot the beam rifle into the fingers, and I've gone over before how loose these fingers are, and I'm not going to poo-poo on them too much, but this is a big gun, and the fingers aren't going to like that. But with that, your officer unit is now complete. It's not a drastic change from the base F90, but the intended role of it somewhat justifies this. Of course, we do have the lingering question of why being a field leader means that your unit then can't be used with any other mission packs, but hey, in this box we still have the U-Type to talk about, and that thing makes this seem pretty trivial. The upgrade here looks fine, and the styling is very consistent with the F90, which is to say it looks really odd on the F92 right here, clashing both with the shape and the color of the unit. But on the regular F90, it does look very sensible, and it gives the practical unit a more aggressive look. And honestly, among all the mission packs, this one alters the F90 really the least, and it's a little bit strange to call it a mission pack because being an officer is not a mission. And I think whether or not you like the O-Type hinges a lot on the beam rifle, and this beam rifle links this F90 unit into the future with the F91, and personally I think that's quite interesting. And certainly some people are going to prefer this look for the F90 and they're going to want to keep this on their shelf, so having that choice is always nice. But of course we have to look at the Uplift Type, which is this whole thing right here. It's one single thing. No weapons, no shields, no guns. It's a rocket that you strap to the F90 and then you launch it out of the atmosphere. Let's first look at the actual Hasegawa booster, which attaches suspiciously with 4 pegs. In the beginning, I strongly suspected that this would work out of the box with the MG Crossbone Gundam, but according to the always thorough Schizophonic in Japan, they don't actually lock into the thruster belts at all, which is a shame and really strange, and they should have at least come with an adapter of some kind. You disassemble the front portion by pulling off the cockpit section, and then you take off these shoulder locks. These parts go onto the shoulders of the F90, and then you can connect the entire back frame onto the backpack. Then the shoulder mounts can be reattached onto the back frame. For the arms, you can remove the side braces first and fit them into the fist before reconnecting the braces back onto the back frame. While shooting this review, the fingers on my F90's hands never cooperated, and in the end I just had to leave them out. And when you're at this part, it's very likely you're not going to have a very good time either. The articulated part down here locks into the side of the legs, and even though they look quite rigid, the legs still have a fair bit of movement and the part looks quite nice as it moves. Lastly, we have this big dome-shaped cockpit, which I assume holds some people who tend to the rocket, and the pilot can hang out here until it's time to get onto the F90. It's a little bit hard to see here, but inside there's a bit of a frame structure, which is a nice touch. It's not full retail master grade quality, but it's also not a complete slapdash job. You need to take off the panels on the front skirt armor, which I forgot to do here, and connect the cockpit into the 2 hard points. The 2 pegs on the top here slide into the back frame, and then the entire rocket assembly is now fully fitted around the F90. And before we proceed to laugh at it, it does try to be sensible with the mounts on the side where you can put the beam rifle and the shield, so you don't just launch the helpless F90 up with nothing to fight with. You see, they totally thought this thing through. Okay, elephant in the room. This thing is really phallic. Did the cockpit, let's say control area, have to be so knobby? I mean, I feel so uncomfortable holding the propellant tank, and there's no way to hold this without my mind screaming at me to put it down. You're gonna get a lot of juvenile jokes if you put this on your shelf, so be warned. And those dangling legs look like a shoddy engineering job, like the in-universe people making it were bitter and disgruntled and they wanted to make this thing look as humiliating as possible, like, oh, you want me to reinvent the HLV that was already a thing a few decades ago? Well, okay, well how do you like this? I mean, I imagine there was probably a way to not do this, but the engineers just didn't do that on purpose. Yeah, humiliating is the best word. Even the control area covers up the F90's face so it doesn't have to look at you while you laugh at it. You are one brave soul if you're gonna put this on display. Sure, there's the origin of it from Crossbone Gundam, and that's probably the only non-ironic reason to own this. It's easier if you think of it as an acknowledgement and appreciation for Mr. Hasegawa, and is probably not to be taken too seriously beyond that, and yeah, let's leave it at that. Oh, and there is a stand too, because there's no way this thing is going to stand up on its own. And in fact, it's so back heavy it snapped a peg right off my action base. But to equip it, you rock off the panel on the back here to expose the connection points for an action base or the included stand. and then you just put it on. And it's gonna prop up your mobile suit just fine. A nice touch is that the stand is disguised as a fueling rig with pipes running down one of the sides, but it will benefit from some painting, if any amount of painting can save this weird looking loadout. Okay, I think we've picked on the poor U-Type enough. But let's bring it all home with a Hobby Clubhouse 3-point verdict on the Master Grade Gundam F90 O-Type and U-Type mission packs. Number 1, it's more original designs for the F90 A to Z project. From its inception, people have been looking forward to the creations that are going to take up the previously unoccupied spots for the mission packs. And this set gives us 2 new ones all at once. At least for the officer type, it's something somewhat sensible and gives us somewhat more different context for using the F90, and that brings us right up to the next point. Number 2, the O-Type is decent. The beam rifle links it technologically to the F91 in the future, and the coloring works very well with the base mobile suit. Even if the blade antenna can look a little bit over the top and a little bit goofy, still, some people are going to prefer this look over the regular F90. But number 3, the U-Type is really hard to take seriously. I don't know if Bandai thought about this, but we can't go back anymore, and this thing is now canon, and it's going to be with us forever and ever. This thing that in-universe was made by brilliant people supposedly in Sanari, and no one told them that HLVs were already a thing. And not a single person laughed in any meeting, not a single chuckle, and no one made a single dick joke. Any one of those things and this project would have ended before it could have possibly come to fruition. I hope that this was because people at Bandai have a sense of humor and that's why they made this. But if this was a serious effort, well, I don't know how to feel about that. So that's a review of the O-Type and the U-Type mission pack. We're 2 more letters closer to the full lineup, and as a big F90 fan, I still enjoyed this set. It's nice to see Mr. Hasegawa's work get more recognition no matter what form it comes in. Thank you so much for watching. Come hang out with us on social media for updates on upcoming videos, links are in the description below, or hang out here some more with one of these other wonderful videos. But before you go, don't forget to like and subscribe and hit the bell icon to be notified when there's a new video from Hobby Clubhouse, and I'll see you next time.